Here's a quick demo on Prophetic's extensive map layers. We're going to go to the top left, click Map Layers. Right away, we can click Cities and see all the legal boundaries of every city in the area. Next, we can see all the county boundaries, as well as CBSA areas, and then parcels, fairly self-explanatory here. You'll note that on zoom in, the parcels actually have the ownership names appear, which can make it really helpful to understand who exactly is the owner on a given piece of dirt. Next, let's look at our assemblages layer. This is one of our most popular. We analyzed every piece of dirt in all 50 states and found every single parcel that shares a border with a neighboring parcel that has the same owner. So you can see here, both of these parcels, which assemble to 0.7 acres, have the same ownership. Now that's nice for infill opportunities, but when you get to the outskirts of town, this is where it gets really, really valuable. Let's zoom in over here. We can see we have two parcels assembling to 121 acres owned by this LLC. If we zoom out and come to this area of town, we have, what do we have here? 5 parcels assembling to 262 acres. Really, really helpful to scan this area and see which major landowners will be one phone call for major assemblages versus trying to track down a bunch of different owners individually. Next, we have all zoning maps for all municipalities in one place. Here's your silver bullet. One click, they all turn on at the same time, and we can just scroll and scroll and scroll across all of Texas, Oregon, Washington, California, you name it. If we're live in a state, which is about 25 states today, we have every single zoning map available in Prophetic. Once you zoom into a given municipality, you can actually split it out by zone type on the map. So if I want to look at where my mixed use areas are, great. If I want to see my residential zones, easy enough. You get the idea. Next, we have a ton of additional market data. We have MLS data that uploads every single night. So we have all the active listings. You can see how long a parcel has been on the market. You can click in and learn more about the listing itself in terms of the description, photos of the units. Same thing in terms of MLS being able to sort by the lot size or the home size. We can look at recently sold parcels or pending sites as well. Next, we have demographic data, which is available on a zip code basis here. This is Census and American Community Survey based data. Really helpful to understand who you might be selling units into in a given market. Plus, we have our Zestimates, which are the average home values in a given zip code. Same thing for rental prices. These are both through our partnership with Zillow. Next, if we come down here to the LA area, we actually have a lot of these state-specific layers. So in Arizona, we have state trust lands. In California, we have the EnviroStore data, which is incredibly helpful due to all the monitoring wells required in California. So when I hover over these individual sites, you can see on the right-hand side, all that environmental information is known. And really, this is our approach to partnership. If your teams need a layer, as an enterprise client, we will build that layer for them at no additional cost. We just request that they send us the GIS link or other data that they'd like built into a map layer. And our average deployment time is about 48 hours. So we really take this seriously in terms of making sure that your team has everything they need in one place to move as fast as possible in acquiring more dirt. Examples of other layers we've built out for our clients. We have the fault lines layer. You can hover over that and learn about fault information. California fire hazards. We can jump over to Texas and learn about municipal utility districts, such as sewer service areas here. We can turn on water districts and see things like MUDs, hover over those and learn more. And then even things like Texas pipelines, all extremely helpful to know, all within Prophetic. Okay, moving on here. Let's look at, these are some of our environmental diligence layers. So we have brownfield and Superfund sites. You can hover over these and learn more, link out to the federal data as well. If it's a Superfund, it'll actually show you the boundary of the Superfund itself, which is really helpful. We'll skip some of these layers, but we do have endangered species, which is really helpful. I think there's some down near San Antonio. Yep, there we go. We also have FEMA flood zones, of course, which is extremely helpful when paired with our parcel boundaries. So you can see exactly where those flood zones run through a site. Next, we have major power transmission lines, extremely helpful to see where these huge lines run. When you zoom in, you can actually see where the towers are as well. And you can confirm that with satellite. We use an enhanced satellite, which is ultra high resolution. One, very helpful to know what a site actually looks like with ultra high res. Two, you can time series regress it. This was shot in July of 25. I can take it back to June or November or January of 2019. It's all right there. Let's turn that off for now. Coming back down here, we can look at school attendance areas at the high primary or middle school level, and we can also see those on the map and see the score of a given school itself. We have school districts as well, which also shows private schools. USGS soil maps, all this is on the right-hand side in terms of the plasticity index, depth to restrictive feature, all that stuff, extremely helpful. Topography, self-explanatory. This is actually getting an upgrade to 1 meter resolution next week. Public transit stops here. You can hover over these and see where bus stops are or rail lines, that type of thing. Wetlands, national wetlands files, extremely helpful. See where these riverines are, where these ponds are. Kind of useful in Texas, extremely necessary in Florida. As you zoom in close here, we can actually see why it's so difficult to build in Florida at times. All these here, these forested shrub wetlands, all very clear. Next, we can see national file of public and protected lands, so the dirt that you'll never be able to build on. And then we have things like difficult development area boundaries and QCT boundaries. Again, a lot of these are built at client request. And some of these other layers, dev map and projects here, will be shown in a separate video.